What did you think of the speech? What did you think of PM Ki Pathshala? There are the numbers on your screen. Once again, our phone lines are open. Call in right away and tell us what you think about the Prime Minister's speech. I have with me in the studio here spokesperson for the Congress, J Shergill. He's going to give us the Congress Party's opinion on what that speech was all about. We also have reporters across the country we'll be going to, but we already have our first caller this evening. Dhanraj is on the phone line with us from Bangalore. Dhanraj, what did you think of Narendra Modi's speech?
We already have our first caller this evening. Dhanraj is on the phone line with us from Bangalore.
Dhanraj, if you could lower the volume on your television and just go ahead.
Sir, it is. I would like to speak in Hindi.
Yes.
It is first time I have experienced that Modi ji I saw on the screen in each and every मेरा जो भी बातचीत उनसे उनका बातचीत जो भी था मैं हर एक ध्यान से सुनता हूँ और समझने का कोशिश करता हूँ. यही फर्स्ट टाइम ऐसा हुआ है भारत में कि ये चमत्कारी है कि एक प्रधानमंत्री जी हर एक छोटे किस्से तक पहुंच के वहां तक वो जानना चाहते हैं, कुछ काम करना चाहते हैं. मैं इससे बहुत खुशी हूं और आज विद्यार्थी के साथ इतने अच्छे से बात किया, छोटे छोटे बात किया उन्होंने. जो अभी स्त्री जाति के बारे में हमारा छोटी अभी लड़की जो भी लड़की विद्यार्थी रहती हैं उनके लिए टॉयलेट के बारे में बताया था. एक रेड फोर्ट में जब उनका भाषण भी हुआ था उन्होंने यही सैनिटेशन के बारे में बताया था. मेरे बचपन से मैं अभी 40 इयर्स ओल्ड हूँ, मैं बेंगलुरु महालक्ष्मी लेआउट से हूँ. मेरा यही चिंता रहता था भारत कभी ये दिन देख पाएगा. मैं अभी मेरे को ये लग रहा है कि अभी भारत कुछ देख रहा है. अभी वो मोदी जी की तरफ से है. मैं कोई पॉलिटिक्स से नाता नहीं रखना चाहता हूँ या कांग्रेस.
Dhanraj from Bangalore was our first caller. We've got our phone lines open, so keep the calls coming in. We do want to know what you think. I want to, while we wait for our next call, I want to bring in J Shergill, spokesperson for the Congress. J the Congress, has had a lot of things to say about the planning, the way the Modi government has gone about organizing this speech, it happening over school hours. Leaving all of that aside, the speech is over now. The sum and substance of what Modi did here today with all those children asking him questions, what did you think? Your first reactions on the speech itself, the sum and substance.
Shiv, apart from, as you said, the complete derision of democracy, I think the speech completely lost the focus. I'm confused whether it was a Children's Day speech, it was a Teachers' Day speech, or it was a campaign mode. The focus of this day is respect and remembrance of the teachers. Mr. Modi used the word like used to be role models, or today in the family nobody wants to be the teacher. Well, that may be a fact, but today is this the words should be used to respect our teachers? No. Second, look at the irony of this. Entire emphasis was put on the need for toilets for girl children. I'll give you an example. Crores of rupees are being spent to source TVs. Closer to home, Punjab has 18,000 schools. 70% still don't have the amount of money today was spent, could have spent to get the work going. Number three, is this not a broad day hijack of a well meaningful intended day? He started by saying this day was dedicated by Dr. Radhakrishna for teachers for their celebration, but where in the speech the teachers figure apart from being, I'm sorry to say, being ridiculed? But
some would say that the Congress is nitpicking on this entire event. Some would say that the Congress is nitpicking on this entire event because the Congress has never managed to make Teachers' Day such a big event in the past, and that's why the Congress is displaying a measure of bad grace about this entire event.
The point is, Congress will never let the self-obsession bulldoze over people's liberties. This is a direct infringement of the freedom of choice. Why should I listen to the Prime Minister? If I want to listen, I will listen. But why in self-obsession you're bulldozing over my liberties? The Constitution doesn't allow that. Which law of the land allows? Look at the language, the way the circular was couched. Any laxity will not be tolerated. Okay. I'm sorry to say. This kind of propaganda is suffocating and a blatant suffocation of the liberty.
An allegation of propaganda has been in the air, and I'm going to get GVL Narasimha Rao of the BJP in just a moment, but we have our second caller. Mrs. Joshi is calling in from Dehradun. Mrs. Joshi, did you think the Prime Minister's speech was historic, or did you think it was unnecessary and a waste of time?
मैं कहना चाहती हूँ कि प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो भी कुछ रखा है स्कूल के लिए बहुत अच्छा है, लेकिन कई बार होता है हम स्कूल में जाते हैं, हमारे बच्चों को कुछ अच्छे से नहीं समझाया जाता है. हम जब कहते हैं तो कहा जाता है कि या तो आप कोऑर्डिनेटर से मिले या उन्हें ट्यूशन पढ़ाएं. लेकिन हम चाहते हैं जो भी कुछ हम बाहर सिखाएं वो हम अपने बच्चों को स्कूल के माध्यम से दिला सकते हैं, क्योंकि स्कूल ही ऐसी जगह है जहां बच्चा संपूर्ण ज्ञान ग्रहण कर सकता है। बाहर जाता है उसका समय खराब होता है, बाहर कई ऐसी चीजें हैं, ट्रैफिक है, कई चीजें हैं, लेकिन अगर हम स्कूल में हमें सही गुरु मिलते हैं तो वो ज्ञान पूरा दिया जाता है। लेकिन आज के स्कूल में सिर्फ अपना सिलेबस खत्म करने की बातें होती है, क्योंकि आगे एग्जाम है और वो उसको सही सिर्फ पढ़ा रहे हैं, सिखा नहीं रहे हैं। लेकिन मैं चाहती हूँ कि जहाँ हमारे बच्चे जाते हैं वहाँ उन्हें पूरा ज्ञान दिया जाए।
Well, we hope those ideals have really trickled down. Mrs. Joshi, thank you very much for calling. Arpit is our next caller. He's calling in from Ajmer. Arpit, go ahead. What did you think of Prime Minister Modi's speech?
Point of view is basically Mr. Modi as a student. I'm an engineering college student myself, and I think Mr. Modi provided with a vision. Actually, he's a visionary leader, and I'm not associated with any political party as such.
Yes.
But the thing is, the Congress and every other political party keep on opposing for the sake of opposing. But I think this Prime Minister is actually doing something, and his intentions are pretty much clear, and that's a very good thing. And I can see a bright future in the coming days. So that's my point of view.
Okay, Arpit, thanks for calling in. You're saying that you are heartened by what Narendra Modi has done and you think that it augurs well for the future. GVL Narasimha Rao, I want to bring you in right now to respond to what J Shergill just said. He says it's a daylight hijack. It's propaganda. It was a complete misuse of a platform, and the teachers were not the spotlight. This was just, this was just a grandstanding by Narendra Modi. That's the sum and substance of the attack that you're getting right now, GVL Narasimha Rao.
The people of the country are extremely happy with what has happened. The children, I think, as one would have noticed during the broadcast, the entire 2-hour-long discussion, interaction, I would not say it was a speech, because the speech lasted only 15-20 minutes and bulk of it was meant for interaction. I think the children seemed very, very excited. We heard children speak from every corner of the country. There was a lot of energy, there was a lot of excitement among children. So I think there is every need. In fact, for the first time in this country, Teachers' Day has been celebrated with such great fervor and almost a festive-like atmosphere. And in this situation, if you have a carping Congress which has nothing but negativity, which keeps on opposing for the sake of opposing, as one of your callers said, I'm repeating what he said, I think it doesn't deserve a response. I think the Congress party has been confined to what it is today. It hasn't got even the opposition, leader of the opposition status. And if they persist with such negativity, I think they possibly will disappear.
Javid, I'll give you a chance to respond to that in a moment.
So I don't think, I think they deserve to be responded to, actually.
Okay, I want to also bring in Raghav Chadha of the Aam Aadmi Party in on this. The Aam Aadmi Party has also had a view on this entire event. Raghav, your opening comments on the speech, the sum and substance of Narendra Modi's speech to students today.
Well, you see, at the outset, I would want to state that there is no harm in the Prime Minister of the country talking to young students.
Yeah.
But this entire episode, this exercise that has been orchestrated, has caused some amount of resentment in the minds of many, primarily on 2 counts. One is the conduct of this exercise, second is the content of the exercise. Now, talking about the conduct of this exercise, it is a huge mammoth exercise that has been conducted by issuing dictatorial instructions. Mr. Modi has essentially imparted a lesson of rituals of power to the students, that everything can be orchestrated to suit the convenience of one person, be it the time of the event, the language of the event, the compulsory attendance in the event, and the students have been made to understand that if a high diktat has been issued by a high office, everyone has to comply by that. Number 2, you see, Teachers' Day essentially is about teachers. Teachers are at the center of the activity, and every school has their own traditions of celebrating this important day. And somehow I believe in this entire event, the teachers have been misplaced from the center, and the center spot has been captured by Prime Minister Modi.
Okay.
And I think, you know, this has led to, and you know, this entire resentment is not just limited to logistical and infrastructural inconveniences, but also that the students and the teachers have vanished from this important day, and it has become about Mr. Modi and nobody else.
Points that you raised, Raghav. In fact, you know, in just a short while from now, we're going to get voices from students, teachers, you know, people who are actually, you know, out there in schools across the country who are made to listen to that speech. I want to quickly fit in a caller from Mumbai right now. Kailash is a Headlines Today viewer who's on the phone line with us from Mumbai. Kailash, what did you think of the of Modi's speech and the way it was conducted today?
Yeah, sure. Mr. Shiv, you know, first of all, it's a pleasant change, you know. See, there will be resentment. Negative people will always be talking, you know. We don't have to see that, with all due respect, this Congress people, they are turning out to be bad losers, you know. And this, with all due respect to this Raghav, if you see his Twitter handle, his handle is spread revolt. So don't expect any positivity from these people. The entire nation respects what the Prime Minister is saying. The real problem with these negative people is they have not yet accepted that the elections are over. And the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, they still are in the campaigning mode, the opposition. Still think that they can defeat Modi by stopping from becoming Prime Minister. They need to wake up, wake up. The country has woken up. No parent is resenting. Everybody is happy. These so-called intellectuals, they are bad losers.
This is a voice. You know what, Kailash, thanks very much for that, and I want you to listen to the responses to your comments, Kailash, and I'm going to put that to Javeer. Javeer, all of the calls we've taken so far, we've taken 5 calls so far, and they all seem to say, what's the big deal? I mean, this is good, it's nice, it's a change, it's a Prime Minister reaching out, he's just won a landslide victory. So, you know, how much merit is there in, you know, anyone calling this propaganda? What propaganda does the Prime Minister really need in reaching out, you know, to students? What's the big deal? You've got a caller there, Javeer, calling the Congress a bad loser, bad grace, and a bad loser in this case.
You know, Shiv, the happiness or the sadness of the students or my friend from the BJP is not the barometer to judge the situation. The point is, you have shot a bolt from the blue called the forced viewership, which is a common trait in all dictatorships. Recently, Venezuela, President Maduro, pre-1990, the Ba'athist regime. Before that, Hitler. Today, we all might be happy, but it does not give the government the power to usurp the constitution to force or mandatorily make attendance compulsory. You know, that is a larger question. Today, it might be a happy situation. This is the first step. What's next? A Bal Bharati school in Noida is already giving exams to rate how did Pradhan Mantri, Mr. Modi speak. What is next? On Sunday, watching Kyunki Saas Bhi Bahu Thi might be made compulsory. Where are we? There is a fine, thin line between discipline, democracy, and dictatorship, and happiness and sadness is not the barometer.
The issue of compulsory viewership remains unresolved. And I'm going to put that question to GVL Narasimha Rao after we come back from a very short break, because that part, seems to be unresolved at this dictatorial, you know, could a much larger audience have been ensured if this wasn't a mandatory exercise? You know, was it even necessary to make it, a compulsory diktat for schools to actually tune in, given the kind of appeal that Prime Minister Modi already apparently has with youth across the country? Was it even necessary to actually force this down schools' throats across the country? We're going to come back to that controversial aspect, but I want to tell our viewers that this is about your voice as well. We've got the politicians who will continue to fight, but we want to put your voices out there because we want to know what you think. And remember, our phone lines are going to remain open right through the day today. We want to hear what you think of Narendra Modi's speech and the manner in which this entire event was conducted. Joining us live now is Rajesh on the phone line with us. He's a Headlines Today viewer from Bangalore. Rajesh, what did you think of the speech?
Rajesh, Bangalore, Rajesh.
Rajesh, can you hear me? Okay, we'll get back to our caller in just a moment. We'd also like to tell our viewers to lower the volume on your television when you're getting the question. Otherwise, you won't be able to hear me. You'll probably get an echo and you won't hear my question. Okay, I want to go straight across to Jugal Purohit, my colleague, who joins me live from a school in Delhi. Jugal, We understand that there was a bit of a muddle there where the power actually went off. I mean, this doesn't illustrate things better, does it? A government school in Delhi where there was a power outage right in the middle of Modi's speech.
That's right, Shiv, and the power outage wasn't external. In fact, the fuse of the school itself went bust, and that's why all these kids who had actually stayed long in the school couldn't even take a look at the speech. But speaking about the broader point, Shiv, there is a lot of optimism among teachers and students out here in a country with over 50 lakh teachers, and where any of their teachers' affairs do not make even news stories these days. They're saying that the very fact that the Prime Minister has made it a talking point is a big boost. They're feeling inspired. Even the students, despite the fact that they couldn't even watch the entire program, say that the Prime Minister chose to speak to them through the television is a big thing, and I spoke to a lot of them, and we'll put out those packages very soon. The kids are saying to us that they feel extremely inspired by the Prime Minister speaking, and for the first time, Shiv, they're saying that we are actually feeling so empowered for the Prime Minister, to talk to us and seek our views. So it's overall had quite a good impact in the school, notwithstanding the power cuts, notwithstanding the poor, abysmal facilities that are existing out here. But the school making all its effort. They held this entire viewing in a science lab with a leaky roof on the top. The rainfall was continuously disrupting. So it was quite a spectacle to watch. But as I said, on the whole, a very, very positive note is what I found resonating among the teachers and the students out here.
Okay, so in that Delhi school, the students were happy to be there even under a leaky roof and with iffy power supply. They were happy to listen to Prime Minister Modi. I want to go across to Indrajit Kundu, my colleague who's joining me live from Kolkata, where there was actually a Narendra Modi blackout. Indrajit, the school that you're at, what happened there?
Well, Shiv, across Bengal and specifically in Calcutta, there might have been a blackout of sorts, especially in the state government-run schools. But we are here at a Kendriya Vidyalaya, and students here were pretty emphatic when they were listening to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. What is the one take-home point from the entire speech?
A very motivational speech he has given, and he has mentioned very good points in his speech. But the one thing I like very most, it was he mentioned about Google. Everyone search in Google and get very adequate amount of knowledge, but that knowledge is not very essential for us. That so is
just
not
information is not good enough, as he tried to say. What is your take-home point?
The washrooms should be made for the girl child, because without it, no girl child will be able to go to school. Especially in remote and rural areas, it should be mostly emphasized on that.
So toilets are a very important point. About you?
About me, it's like that youth is the most, he spotted the light on youth. Youth is our future. It's like today's youth is tomorrow's future.
So emphasis on youth was very catchy. And what about you?
He said that today's generation is not focusing on the nature. They're not looking at the moon. They're not seeing the nature. So I would like to say that we could have a go green society, go green world if we focus on the nature as well as we can save the electricity.
So what if you take home points there? Overall, if I'll ask you to rate Narendra Modi's speech, this is a historic speech because no Prime Minister has given a Teachers' Day address to students for the first time. So how would you rate it altogether?
awesome!
So Shiv, the verdict is out as far as the school out here in Calcutta is concerned. They are pretty, happy about the kind of message that the Prime Minister has given out to the students, be it about education, be it about having toilets, and be it about having, a thought for the environment. So a lot of take-home points among students here in Calcutta.
Thanks very much, Indrajit and Jugal, for that. GVL Narasimha Rao, all the students that we've been able to speak to so far, I mean, we haven't been able to find any students who were not happy being there. Everyone was happy to be there. They thought the speech was awesome. Was it even necessary, this entire controversy over this being a diktat, this being forced upon schools? Was it even necessary, Mr. Rao? It's taken away from the sheen of the entire exercise.
No, I think it's only a propaganda by some opposition parties to say this was a diktat. I think these were the guidelines given to the schools, and information was given to them.
But the aftertaste is dictatorial.
And the manner in which children have responded, there is absolutely no sign of being forced. Children are a group who hate being pushed around. and if you insist on somebody's presence there, I think children would have actually responded in a very vocal manner. The fact that they are very excited, the fact that they are very happy about participating in this event, interacting with the Prime Minister, shows that this propaganda
we've got time for just one last caller. Since it's a calling show, I'm going to end with one last caller, Venkesh from Bangalore. Venkesh, go ahead. What did you think of Modi's speech?
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
I'm Venkatesh from Bangalore. Today it was the speech. In fact, I was sitting with my daughter across in this place, it was so encouraging that a Prime Minister for the first time has come across from and addressing, although it might be a teacher's day, and he, like a teacher, is talking to the student. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And secondly, he's trying to say a lot of things, which is like a teacher telling the student, like what he can say for the country. And
right.
I think I don't fundamentally belong to any party. As basically we were for the Congress for ages together, and I think if the Congress and the people are going to keep talking like this, I think 44 will become 4 in 2009.
Thank you, Venkatesh, for calling in. That seems to be the message from most people calling, saying they don't belong to any party. They do believe that the politicians can continue to fight, bicker and find fault with each other. But at the end of the day, they believe that all said and done, controversy aside, they think that Prime Minister Modi reaching out to students, speaking to them, all else aside, was a good thing, and the aftertaste has been heartening. We're going to leave it there for the moment. This is definitely not a debate that's over. We're going to continue to get in voices from teachers and students who heard the speech across the country, including people who thought it wasn't a very good idea. Teachers and students across the country will be on headlines today, right through this evening. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining us on this particular debate.